I'm Theo. This is Artie.
I'm Grace.
I'm David, and we are Feel Good Farm. What are we? Welcome back to Feel Good Farm. You're with David, Theo and Artie. And today we are going to be making tomato chutney with our summer vegetables from the garden straight to the kitchen to my wonderful wife Grace, who's going to teach us all how to make delicious tomato chutney. Come on, let's go. Got the new footwear, Crocs if you're watching this. Hit us up with a sponsorship, would you? Putting Crocs on feet ain't cheap nowadays. So we are towards the end of January in 2024, so which means we're right pretty much smack bang in the middle of summer, or getting towards the end, which is quite exciting. All looking forward to some rain, but all in all pretty happy with how the ground cover's looking. We've got a lot more cover on than we had in that first episode, but yeah, things are pretty dry out there. Sheep are pretty noisy, but we're keeping this garden singing, so looking forward to some rain, that's for sure. Come on down, let's go boys, come on.
Yeah.
So
This is the
ba-ba-da-boo.
tomato.
So what we have here is a mixed planting of heritage tomatoes, seed saved from our first year of growing tomatoes, which we grew in a different location, which is important for a few reasons. We want to try and break disease cycles and those sorts of things. Although you're always going to get a bit of end rot on your tomatoes anyway, which I'm finding out, which is a bit of a bugger, but I mean, luckily we've got our chickens just over the other side of the fence there, and they're pretty happy to take any scraps on, so pretty exciting. What we've got is a bit of a staggered planting, so we've got seedlings that we've grown. We've basically solarized with a new method that I'd like to show you in a minute or so, but then we've basically planted our seedlings straight into that solarized section and they've just bumped away. So Artie's really good at picking the green ones, so we're actually lucky if we can get any tomatoes up to the house at this stage. These ones are still a couple of weeks off. Artie, how about you pick the red ones, buddy? Come on up.
I've got some red.
Theo's already started, so we can see again we've encouraged a lot of other ground cover. So we've had some windmill grass that has been coming up. Probably not really a desirable species to have in here, as it'll be a competitor for moisture. That's okay. We've got quite a mix of other species in there. I've just been chopping and mulching it onto the surface. Whoopsie daisies. And yeah, if you can get any produce out of a garden when you've got a 1 and a 3-year-old, I think you're doing pretty well. All right, let's get picking. See this, Artie? Red one, see? You don't get them at Woolies or Coles, do you, eh?
Oh, look at the covers of these. Don't get them at Woolies or Coles, don't ya?
Is that right? Where do you get them?
At our farm.
At our farm?
Yeah.
Are they delicious?
Yeah.
What are we going to make with these tomatoes?
Tomato chutney.
Tomato chutney.
A big tomato. A big whopper tomato. A whopper. It's a whopper.
So as I mentioned, do get a bit of end rot. If you've ever grown a lot of tomatoes, you'll find that that's pretty much unavoidable. I have seen Richard Perkins, who is a really good follow, I would recommend, from Sweden, I think he is. He puts on some Epsom salt when he's seed when he's putting in his seedlings. So that could be worth a try, and maybe we'll try it next year too. But we can also just do this, and off it goes to the chooks. Thank God Mum's arrived.
So put this one.
That's okay, we can still make chutney with that, can't we?
Oh, well, that's good to hear.
Yeah. You could probably get that other one with the end that's a bit funny, yeah.
There's a green tree frog in the tomatoes.
Hi.
Look at this guy.
Hey.
Wow. Hey, little fella.
I thought it must have been a forest in here.
It is, isn't it? It's a full jungle.
Forest.
Yeah, Artie's starting to redistribute the produce back onto the vines. Here, Theo, here's that big yellow whopper under here.
I didn't see it.
There you go, bud.
Oh, no. That's good. Level.
Wow, that's a beautiful tomato. Look at that.
Look.
Whoa.
Is that enough to make chutney, my dear?
Yeah.
There you have it, folks. We have. That's this one.
With the chutney,
Just
you have
one
to
pick.
chop
Oh.
them all up and put salt over them and leave them overnight.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't remember that. There you go. So,
We can do that step tonight.
all right. So, we've picked all our tomatoes. So they've headed up to the house for processing. So step one tonight, once we've got those tomatoes in there, chop them all up and then we're going to salt them. I'm talking like I know what I'm doing, but I don't really. So Grace will probably tell us all about it once we get up at the house. So tonight we're going to salt them, and then tomorrow we can make the chutney. So I hope you enjoyed your time down in the garden. And again, if you haven't, please like, share, subscribe, get amongst us, get around the channel and help us support our family. Cheers. Welcome back. We have made it in from the garden into the kitchen, where I'm a little bit out of my depth, I'll be honest, but it's now bedtime. Gracie's putting the kids to sleep, so we've stepped up to the plate and we are going to get these tomatoes in a brine. For those that were wondering, we harvested 4.5 kilos just then. Pretty amazing stuff. So what we're going to do, first step, is you want to get your tomatoes into some water and give them a wash. Okay folks, so I'm going to run through what we need for this recipe. So you're going to need a metal colander, nice big glass bowl, some salt, get as good a quality salt as you can find. I'm going to get a bowl here to cut off any defects or any rotten parts. You're going to want a nice sharp knife. If you don't have one of these, get yourself one of these. And this is probably adequate. Alright, so what we are going to do is chop these tomatoes all up now. I'm going to chop them into pieces around about this size. Let's get into it. So as you're chopping away, it's important that you don't need to be too precious about the exact size that you're chopping these tomatoes. As they break down in the jar, they're actually just going to shrink and dissolve anyway somewhat, so just make sure they're small enough to break down and fit in your jar. So we're going to aim for 3 kilos here of chopped tomatoes in this colander, and then we're going to add the salt, and we are in business. And we're just going to do a quick check and see how close we are to 3 kilos. 2.2, few kilos. Gonna need a bigger bowl. Oh, we'll just cut the rest of these then. So, we've got our tomatoes, we've got the salt. Now what we're going to do from here is we're going to add approximately a tablespoon of salt per kilo of chopped tomatoes. Okay, so we've got around close to 2.8 kilos here. So we're going to add 2.8 tablespoons of salt. That easy. 1 tablespoon. Sprinkle it over. 2 tablespoons. And 0.8 exactly of another tablespoon. And that is all we need for the salt. I'm going to pop this, just mix it through. I'm going to tip this back into here. Looks like there's heaps more there now. It was a bit of an optical illusion, wasn't it? How does that work? Oh gosh, that is, so you can see that working already. The juice is just pouring out. Now all we need to do is get a nice clean tea towel, place that over the top, and we are ready to go tomorrow. What are we making, Theo?
Tomato chutney.
Woohoo! Where are the tomatoes from?
Our garden.
Yeah, buddy. Who are you making them with?
Mummy.
Is it going to be delicious?
Yeah.
Yum, yum, yum. Here she is, subject matter expert.
So today we are making a tomato chutney or a tomato jam. Here. We made this a lot last year with green tomatoes and red tomatoes, and it worked really well, and we've still got a few jars left of it. We've eaten it with burgers and sausage rolls, omelettes. What else, Theo, have we had our tomato chutney with?
Not sure.
Spanakopita. It's really great. Anyway, and sandwiches. So we'll talk you through everything we need for the tomato chutney recipe. We have got all our glass jars here, and all I've done is pour a little bit of boiling water in there to sterilize them. And what I'll do now is I'll tip all the water out and I'll pop them into the hot oven until they're completely dry. I've also put water into each lid, as you can see, and the same thing, put them in the oven until they're dry, and then they're sterilised. This is the book we are using to base our tomato chutney recipe off. A Year in a Bottle by Sally Wise. There's lots of great recipes in there, and we've just changed this a bit. We've reduced the amount of sugar in there, and a few different things like that. Okay, so this is what David prepared yesterday or last night, and that's all our chopped up onions, and you can see, chopped up tomatoes, sorry, you can see how much water has come out, which is really good because then you get more concentrated flavour in the chutney and less watery texture. So it makes more of a flavoursome tomato chutney. And look at all the different colours we're using, which is really nice. But you can just do this with just green tomatoes or just red tomatoes. Both work because we have made both before. So what we are going to do next is put all our chopped up drained tomatoes into here, into our big pot with
Take all the bits of watermelon out.
Take all the bits of watermelon out, and we will also put our onion in there, our vinegar. We are just using any white vinegar or grape vinegar. It doesn't have to be the best vinegar. I would save your good apple cider vinegar for dressings because we're cooking with it anyway. Sugar and our spices go in there too. We are using a tablespoon each of mustard seeds, yellow mustard seeds, garam masala, which is just curry powder, and ground turmeric, and some black pepper too. So, should we put it all into the pot?
Yes.
Tap, tap. Lovely job.
Nice.
Would you like to crack some pepper in?
Yeah.
So this is 750 mils of white vinegar, or 3 cups. Now we'll put the sugar in.
Can I put that?
Yes, we are going to do 2 cups of sugar. This is a half cup measure. So how many of these do we need, Theo?
I'm not sure.
So I think we've talked through all the ingredients, but I'll go through it all again, and we'll also pop it, I think, maybe down the bottom, the recipe. So we've got our nearly 3 kilos of chopped up tomatoes with the water drained off overnight. We have a tablespoon of turmeric, tablespoon of yellow mustard seeds, and a tablespoon of garam masala. Some fresh cracked black pepper, which Theo was putting in before. 750 mils of white vinegar, 2 cups of raw sugar, and 2 onions, which we are going to chop into quarter moon shapes, aren't we, Theo? When I say a quarter moon, we go like this, don't we? In half, and then we slice this way.
You put one baby in.
Okay, we are ready to cook.
Custard.
Yeah, the onion's got my eyes.
The onion's got my eyes too.
Should I pop it on the heat?
Yeah.
So,
No.
when making a chutney or jam, it's important to not let the sugar burn. So we want to make sure the sugar all dissolves throughout the chutney first before having the heat up too high. So it's important at the start to stir it quite regularly. So we'll let it come to a very gentle boil, and then we cook it for 1 hour. The tomato chutney is just coming up to a simmer now. You can start to see a few bubbles, and so we just want to keep it at that heat. I will actually swap it to a lower burner, and then we cook it for an hour. Okay, so our tomato chutney has been gently boiling away for an hour now, and we are going to pop it into the jars we sterilised earlier on today. So when the jar's full, you can just tap it down a couple of times to make sure there's no air in there. Push any bits of tomato that have got caught up the top down in the liquid, and then we'll clean off the jar at the end so there's no sticky bit on the outside, and then keep filling. So we have just filled up all our tomato chutney jars now, and we're going to pop the lids on while they're still hot, nice and tight, clean off the outside, and then they'll keep for up to a year as well. And over here you can see we have just made a little platter with some of our goodies we made today. We've got our cucumber pickles with fresh dill in there. We have our tomato chutney, and these are both great accompaniments with our sausage rolls, homemade sausage rolls, and fresh homemade sourdough, cheese, and fresh homegrown figs. Would you? I'm new to making sourdough, but we are thinking about sharing our sourdough recipe and how to in an upcoming YouTube video. So if you'd be interested in that, let us know because we'd love to share it with you. What would you like? This one? And some cheese? 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 This one? Sausage roll. Bit hot. Thank you for joining us to learn how to make tomato chutney today with our homegrown tomatoes from our own farm. Oh, if you would like to learn more recipes, we're thinking of doing some more in the future. So please let us know if there's anything in particular you would like. And thank you.
Shameless plug, Grace will be releasing an ebook coming up in the next few months. So get behind Mama Feel Good. Yeah, learn how to make delicious food for your family too, and grow it too.
Thank you.
Eating all the tomatoes.